Welcome to this video on Math W02. This is an online asynchronous 14-week course taught by me, Professor Lumen, in the spring of 2023. Syllabus information. This video contains highlights of the syllabus. It is still recommended that you take time to read through the entire syllabus posted on Brightspace. After watching this video, you should be able to complete the syllabus quiz assignment in Brightspace. Part 1, Course Expectations. What is an asynchronous online course? This course is a fully online asynchronous course. This means all your learning will take place by watching the instructional videos embedded in Brightspace. There are no lecture times or dates. The only way to see the instructor is to utilize office hours. Think about your learning style. Do you learn well from videos? Do you do well learning independently outside of the classroom and managing your own time? If not, please consider withdrawing from this course and taking it in a different format, possibly another semester. Please note, during the first week of the semester, you can still withdraw from this class with a 100% refund. Also, if you don't withdraw but instead transfer to a different modality, meaning a face-to-face course, you also don't have to do any financial transactions. So please keep that in mind as a possibility. How to pass this course. As stated in the syllabus, you must earn a 70% C or higher in this course in order to pass. Any grade below a 70% is not considered passing and will require you to retake this course. Hours per week dedicated to this course. Since there are no lectures, you are expected to spend 3 hours a week outside of class learning the material and an additional 6 hours completing assignments and studying. This means you are expected to invest a total of 9 hours per week into this class. Please take some time and think about whether you have 9 hours a week to dedicate to this course. If not, please consider withdrawing from this course and taking it in another semester. Part 2, Course Materials. Course Materials, Textbook. The textbook for this course is located online in Brightspace. You may choose to purchase a paper copy of the textbook from the bookstore, but this is not required. Course Materials, Technology. In order to be successful in this fully online course, you must have access to the following. 1. Regular access to reliable computer, desktop, or laptop. 2. A stable broadband internet connection. 3. A CCBC email account, which is free when you enroll. Even if you've never checked it before, you already have a CCBC email account. Access to Brightspace Learning Management System for lessons, assignments, and more. You should not rely on mobile devices and tablets as a primary means to complete an online course. Instead, you should use a computer or laptop. Students have complained to me in past semesters that when they try to do MyOpenMath, when they click on the links in Brightspace, they are not really mobile friendly. So when they try to do that on a phone or an iPad, they really don't work. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do your online homework on your phone while you're at work or while you're somewhere. You're going to have to use a real computer, either a laptop or desktop, to do a lot of your homework assignments. There are many computers at CCBC campuses that students can use to complete unproctored assignments. Therefore, if you do not have a computer at home, you may go to campus in order to use the computers there. Course Materials, Calculator. You are allowed to use a calculator on exams. You cannot use a cell phone or any other mobile device on exams. Therefore, it is highly recommended that you obtain a calculator at the beginning of the semester and become comfortable with it, using it to complete all homework assignments. Using a new calculator for the first time during an exam can create unnecessary stress and confusion for students. The recommended calculator for this course is the TI-30X. This is also the one carried in the bookstore. There are several versions of this calculator offered. Let me show you what I mean. If I do a Google search for TI-30X, you can see that I can shop for these right here. So let's look at what's offered. This one is a TI-30X IIS, and that's fine. But if you scroll over, you can see that this one is a little bit different. In fact, it looks pretty different. This is the TI-30XS. Again, these are both fine. Okay. If I keep going over here, you can see that this is a TI-30XA. So again, that's even a third kind of TI-30X calculator. So the point is, all of these will work. If you already own a different type of calculator other than the ones that I just showed you, the TI-30X series, you are welcome to use what you already own. As long as it does what we need it to do, please don't spend money on a new calculator. Graphing calculators are also completely fine and allowed. However, they're not required. They usually cost over $100, and you really don't need them for this course. So please don't spend that much money on a calculator for this class. It's just not needed. However, I want to point out that you do need a scientific calculator, not just a basic four-function calculator. So let me show you what the difference is between a scientific calculator and a four-function. So let's see why we need a scientific calculator. What can a scientific calculator do that a four-function calculator can't? So here I've just taken a screenshot of one of the TI-30Xs. So the things that you really want your scientific calculator to be able to do for this particular course, you want it to be able to square values or even raise a number to any power. This calculator does that, and I can see that right here. In this particular calculator, there is this cute little caret button. So if I type 4 caret 8, that would be 4 to the 8th power. So I can raise any number I want to any power I want. Notice the blue thing is really hard to see because it's tiny, but if I hit second and then this little caret button, that would help me take the nth root. So if I wanted to take, let's say, the 4th root of 7, I would hit 4, and then I would hit second, and then this button, and then I would hit 7, and then I could take the 4th root of 7. Now, as you can see, it's very obvious that this calculator does a lot of other stuff more than that, right? It looks like it has some trig functions on here, sine, cosine, tangent, lots of other things that we won't necessarily use. But this is the main thing we need to do. We need to be able to raise a number to any power, and we need to be able to find not only the square root, but the nth root, like the 3rd root or the 4th root of the value. So you need to be able to do these functions. Let's just compare that really quickly to this four-function calculator. Right? What does a four-function calculator do? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's four functions, right? It adds, subtracts, multiplies, and divides. And that's all you have, okay? So again, if you're going to want these extra abilities where you can square root and you can square, or you can raise a number to any power or find the nth root of any value. So that's why you need this. Again, you should not be spending more than $20 on this calculator. So if you have a four-function calculator, you're welcome to use that. I just want you to understand that it's not going to do all of the mathematical functions that I would be happy for you to use a calculator for. Part 3, Course Communication and Resources. How to communicate with your instructor. The best way to communicate with the instructor is via email. I check my email frequently both on my computer and on my phone. Please do not use the Brightspace messaging center as this does not go to my phone, and it will take longer for me to respond. While I have an office number at CCBC, I am rarely at my desk to answer my phone and check my voicemail. Therefore, the fastest response to any inquiry will be received if you email me at my CCBC email address. I will respond to emails within 24 business hours, excluding weekends and holidays. Using your CCBC email address. You should check your CCBC email daily. There is a video posted in Brightspace that teaches you how to access your CCBC email online in case you do not know how. Please note that your CCBC email address is not your username at ccbcmd.edu. However, student emails are your username at email.ccbcmd.edu. A lot of students don't know that. Free tutoring resources. CCBC offers free tutoring through the Math Department and through the Student Success Center. Please see the link in Brightspace titled Free Tutoring to learn more. Part 4, Office Location and Office Hours. Instructor Office Location. The instructor's office is located on the Catonsville campus in MASH 115. To get to her office, go to the first floor of the MASH building and into the door that says MASH 110-126. This is the math office, which houses all of the offices for all of the instructors. Talk to the administrative assistant and let her know you want to see Professor Loomis. The admin leaves at 4 p.m. So if it is after 4 p.m., you will have to go through the gate and find my office, MASH 115. Just look at the numbers on the doors and it'll be really easy. Instructor office hours. My in-person office hours this semester are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12:15 to 1:15 in the afternoon. However, I also, because I'm teaching 2 online courses, set up a calendar in Calendly. So you can sign up for a 20-minute one-on-one tutoring session with me. All you have to do is go into Brightspace, and you can either look in my syllabus, or you can also click on instructor information, and you can find the link. It's really easy to use. The Calendly software automatically generates a Zoom meeting, and it sends you the link and me the link so that we can meet online. So the Calendly appointments have to be booked at least 24 hours in advance, and that's just so that I make sure that I can be there and I'm available and it doesn't, hit me by surprise and I haven't made other plans. The days and times that I am available are restricted and they are indicated on the Calendly site. They might vary from week to week. So if you're looking at one week and you see that I'm not available, let's say on a Tuesday, that doesn't mean that I'm never available any Tuesday. It just means that Tuesday I'm not available. Sometimes we have monthly meetings and stuff like that, and then I have to change my schedule around. So just please be aware of that and note that those times will change from week to week. This information, again, is also in Brightspace. It's in the syllabus. It's also in the instructor information. If you have any trouble finding any of my office hour information, or if you look at all these different hours and availabilities and you still can't find any that work for your schedule, please email me. I'm more than happy. I love meeting my online students because it's the only time I get to see you. So please, reach out to me. I'd love to see you at least once this semester and help you. So please make a point to do that, and we'll make it happen, even if what you see right now doesn't seem convenient to you. We will make it happen. Part 5, exams. Exams. Ah, yes, everybody loves exams. So we have 2 unit exams and 1 final exam. Each unit exam is worth 20% of your grade, and the final is worth 30% of your overall grade. If you add that together, 20 plus 20 plus 30, that gives you 70. That means that 70% of your total grade comes from unit exams. So that is a lot. So that means you really want to make sure you're studying and preparing for these guys, because that's where most of your grade is going to come from. So the syllabus states that exams cannot be made up for any reason, and you need to take them during the times that are stated in the syllabus. And actually, they're not in the syllabus. The syllabus refers to my calendar. So you need to go to Brightspace and click on calendar, and then you'll see all the dates there. Okay, so exam 1. This is also going to be in the announcements. It's also, I believe, in the syllabus. It will cover chapters 1 and 2. It will be available in the Testing Center Monday, March 6th through Friday, March 10th during Testing Center hours, and you'll have 60 minutes to complete this exam. There is a whole module in Brightspace that has this information on the Testing Center. So if you're like, where's the Testing Center? How do I make an appointment? Just go to Brightspace and look around and you'll find it. So exam 2, almost the same thing, except for it's going to cover chapter 3 and 4. And it will be available Monday, April 24th through Friday, April 28th. Again, you'll have 60 minutes to complete that exam. Lastly, the final exam is comprehensive. It will cover chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It will be available Monday, 5:15, Tuesday, 5:16, and Wednesday, 5:17. 3 days, not a whole week this time. So just note that. Again, during Testing Center hours, and you will have 120 minutes or 2 hours to complete this exam. Please note, if you have accommodations, obviously then you're going to have extra time if that is your accommodation. I cannot give you accommodations unless I get an official document from the Disability Support Services. CCBC works with a self-reporting measure, so you have to, if you want accommodations, you are responsible for giving them your documentation, and I can't give you any accommodations until they send me that document. So just please be aware of that and start the process sooner rather than later. If you wait till right before exam 1, there's a good chance that your accommodations are not going to be processed before the exam, and then it's not retroactive. You can't go back and fix it. Okay, so again, if you would take a moment to save these days in your phone, maybe print out a paper copy of the calendar that's in Brightspace, whatever you need to do, however you remember your dates and your appointments, whatever that is, please use it for these dates so you don't forget. Okay, final exam replacement. Your final exam will replace your single lowest unit exam grade only if this raises your course grade. Okay, and again, this can only help you. It will never hurt you. So we'll either not do anything. It won't change your grade if it would hurt you, and it would help you if doing so would help you. So the testing centers, you have to take these tests at a proctored location. Math is just a tricky thing to proctor. When you try to do it remotely, it's really hard because you can't necessarily see a person's whole environment, and you probably know there are so many different apps and software programs that do math for you and show you the step-by-step process. So it's just so almost impossible to, in my opinion, to deter cheating in a remote location. So that's why I use the CCDC Testing Center. Again, there is a link to Brightspace. It has lots of information there. But they don't permit walk-ins. You have to make an appointment. They ask for 48 hours, up 2 days in advance. If you're out of area, this is totally fine. We support you. We have an option for you. CCBC has a procedure where you can find a proctored location, like a local college or university with a testing center. There's sometimes a small fee for that kind of proctored testing. It's usually maybe like $15 or so. I believe it might have changed in the recent past. But you can use that method. And if you're confused, if you know you're out of area and you know you need this, please email me as soon as possible, and I'll set you down the path of finding a proctor and getting that process started. Okay. So again, if you wait to let your instructor know, if you're like, let's say it's a day before exam one opens, and you're like, hey, I'm in Montana, probably not going to be able to set you up with a proctor. So if that is you, if you are out of area, if you're not within driving distance of the CCBC campuses, then you definitely please email me. Let me know as soon as possible so we can get you all set up and squared away. So again, your exam dates will not be extended because you are out of area or anything like that. You have to make sure that you still honor those dates. So I just want to make it clear that remote proctoring is not allowed in this course. When students find out that they're supposed to come to the testing center 3 times a semester, a lot of times they get upset. They say things like, well, my English teacher does respond this, or, I've done this in the past in other courses, or even in another math course. That may be true. That is valid. For me, I have just found that it's just way too easy for academic dishonesty to happen in a remote proctored environment. So again, I know that nothing is perfect. No testing environment is going to be perfectly free of cheating, but that is what I've decided to do this semester. So again, other instructors might use this. This is what I'm requiring. If that's absolutely not okay with you, you can think about maybe withdrawing and taking this in either a different modality or taking a different section, maybe a different instructor. You might find a different instructor who does allow remote proctoring. Again, this semester, I'm not doing that for this course. If the times of the testing center are a conflict with you or something like that, please let me know. I will try to work with you and make this as easy and painless as possible. But again, I'm not. If you're asking me, well, can I use Respondus or can you watch me on Zoom or on Teams? The answer, unfortunately, is no. I would be happy. We can proctor you in person, but we can't proctor you. Okay, so let's talk about the testing centers. They ask for a photo ID, so you can either use your student ID if you happen to have it, or you can use a driver's license or any other government issued photo ID. Again, they won't let you sit for the exam if you don't have that because they're like, well, how do you know that you're not paying somebody else to take this? That's the idea. So you are encouraged to bring your own calculator. I've heard that sometimes the testing centers have a few, but I haven't heard good things about the calculators they have in stock. So I would strongly recommend that you bring your own calculator. Then you're familiar with it. You know that the batteries are fresh, all that. So yeah, make sure that you do that. This says the testing center will not provide you with a calculator. I thought that was true. Again, I've had students come back to me and said, they dug up a calculator for them. But again, how they say beggars can't be choosers. So if the testing center gives you a calculator, who knows what kind of calculator that's going to be. So just kind of keep that in mind. I would bring several pencils. Maybe this is just me being paranoid, but you less stress. Make sure you have a good eraser, several pencils. Don't write in pen. You're going to end up scratching out. Maybe you're perfect, unlike me. I make mistakes all the time. So, consider that so you can have a nice, neat test and it's not a mess. Okay, you don't want to bring your own notes or paper of any kind. They will not supply with scrap paper. So a lot of the instructors, they'll check a box and then the testing center will give you testing center scrap. The reason I don't do that is because I really want to see all your work. I don't want some of your work to be on the test and some of it to be on scratch paper. Because I really grade your work and I grade you for partial credit. I try really hard when I print out the exams or when I send them, I create my copies that there's more than enough room for each problem. After you take the first exam, if you're like, oh my God, I didn't have near enough room, let me know, or if before the first exam, you think, what, I really need that scrap paper, even if she's not grading it, let me know. I'm willing to, bend on this policy. Again, I just want to encourage everybody to show their work where I can see it so I can give you as much partial credit as possible. And I don't like to flip back and forth between the test and the scrap and then scratch paper usually the work is all over the place and I have no idea what work goes with what problem. So that's why I did this. But again, if you think it's going to be an issue for you, I'm not trying to stress you out or make things harder than they have to be. So let me know and we'll work it out. All right, cell phones. Yeah, the testing center is not going to let you have a cell phone. I've had students try to sneak cell phones in there, and they were watched and they were caught. So don't do that. Make sure you have an actual calculator with you. All right, part 6, homework and quizzes. So exams are 70% of your course grade. So you might be thinking, okay, cool. What's the other 30%? Well, the other 30% of your grade is online quizzes, online homework, and written homework. So quizzes is kind of a misnomer. Brightspace calls any kind of thing where there's questions that you create in Brightspace and there's a right and wrong answer. It's going to call that a quiz no matter what. So I'm like, fine, whatever, call yourself a quiz. I don't care. But it's not proctored at all. You get 2 different attempts. And the main purpose of them is just to really make sure that you understand the basic concepts. So the quizzes are very conceptual, and then you get to the written homework. The written homework is going to be like, 2x plus 3 is equal to 5, solve for x, that kind of thing. The online quizzes aren't like that. It's more like, what would be the first thing you do to solve this equation? So like, do you understand how to do this? Do you understand the procedure? Okay. So there is one online quiz for every section in this course, which I think adds up to a total of 26 quizzes. That's a lot. But you have 2 attempts for each one, and they can't be made up for any reason, but I believe I do drop the 2 lowest quizzes at the end after the final exam. So whatever your 2 lowest quizzes are, they will get dropped. Okay, online homework. So online homework, this is more like practice, right? This is like when your coach makes you run laps before a game, right? Or like doing a scrimmage, right, with your own team members. This is just practice. So the nice thing about the online homework is it gives you that immediate feedback. You type in -5 and it's like, good job. You're like, cool, I know what I'm doing. Or if you type in -5 and it's like, no, then you're like, oh no, I made a mistake. So that's really nice. And there's one online homework assignment for each section. However, there's also a chapter review. So be careful though, because there's only one each chapter. And sometimes they slip through the cracks. They're embedded in the course content. And I'm making a video that's like a tour of Brightspace. Make sure you watch that video too. If you're like me and you're not good about like reading things or finding things on your own, that will help you and remind you of where things are. Okay, so again, online homework, I do not accept late. It cannot be made up late. So make sure you do it by the deadline. So the online homework, I use MyOpenMath, but I do it a little bit differently. I actually embed the MyOpenMath links into Brightspace, which I think is really brilliant because then you don't have to have a username. Well, I think it makes you create an account if you've never used MyOpenMath, but you don't have to have a course ID or a password like that. So it makes it much, much faster and easier, and you're not navigating to multiple websites in order to use this course. You just go to one spot, Brightspace, and then everything is there. Okay, so if you've used MyOpenMath in past semesters or in other courses, you're not going to myopenmath.com. You have to go to Brightspace. If you try to get through it to the homework assignments through myopenmath.com, you're not going to get there. You're going to have a problem. Okay. All right. So what I do with the online homework, you have 2 attempts for each problem, and then it says get similar question. And you can click on get similar question 100 times. So 2 times 100, that's 200. So you essentially have unlimited tries, right? Please don't do the same problem 200 times. That's insane. Like after like 5 different questions, maybe get some help, find some tutoring, come see me. Okay. So the idea behind the online homework is that you again have unlimited attempts before the deadline. So it's not about being perfect the first time. It's about practicing, getting that feedback, and doing problems until you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I really understand what I'm doing. So the written homework, unfortunately, because I'm grading it, it's one and done. Okay. So I try really hard when I write these problems for your written homework is to emulate what you're going to see on the written exams, right? So I can also give you more detailed feedback because I can grade your assignments online, and I can write comments there and grade it, and then it's just much easier. Okay. So the reason I do written homework and online homework, again, online homework gives you that immediate feedback. Written homework gives you much richer, more thorough explanation of like, oh, well, the reason this is wrong is because you multiplied instead of divided or whatever, right? My open math is going to tell you you're right or you're wrong. It's not going to tell you why. It's not going to troubleshoot. And that's what I want to do with a written homework. So there are only 6 of these guys, one for each chapter, okay? So they're not going to be every week because we have 14 weeks and 6 assignments, right? So you can't have one every week. So you're going to submit it as a single PDF. I have, let me see. I have a module in Brightspace that just explains exactly how to take multiple pieces of paper, scan them, and create a single PDF. So if you don't know how to do that, see the module in Brightspace, okay? So when you do the written homework, I don't care. You can either print out the homework if you want. I didn't have a printer for years, so that wasn't an option. Or you can just, take some notebook paper, blank paper, printer paper, whatever you have at home, and just do the problems on blank paper. As long as you, label and number the problems, circle your answers, that's totally fine. And in recent semesters, I've had students do these like on their iPads with electronic ink, which is pretty cool. But I really want them to be written by hand. So make sure you're doing that. And I definitely don't want you typing using like equations or something. I want to see your handwriting. Okay. Yeah. And again, if you're not sure how to do the PDF thing, just use that. Look up that module on Brightspace. Okay, so again, with a written homework, you're going to have a single attempt. And the main reason is because as soon as the deadline is passed, I post either video solutions or written solutions in Brightspace. I believe there are video and written solutions for the first chapter. After that, I believe it's only written solutions. But since those are published and made public, if you were to submit after those are published, then there's no telling that you necessarily did it or just copied from what was online. So that's why they only have one attempt. You can't make it up or redo it for any reason. But I will drop, out of 6 written homeworks, I will drop the lowest one. So if you miss one written homework, it won't kill you. That 0 will get dropped. Okay, so at this point, you should have all the information you need to go into Brightspace and complete the syllabus quiz. So please do that, and you're good.